Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. During the unfolding drama at Forrester Creations, Katie Logan Spencer finds herself still chasing a moment that continues to slip through her fingers. She has been hoping for something simple yet meaningful, a proud shared celebration with her sister Brooke Logan Forrester. But that emotional connection remains just out of reach. Brooke, however, is unable to embrace Katie's success the way she normally would, because her heart is clouded with a deep sense of betrayal tied not only to Katie's actions, but also to Eric Forrester's involvement in the tension surrounding the family and the company. The emotional strain between the Logans and Forresters casts a long shadow over what should have been a moment of unity. Meanwhile, Hope Logan Spencer experiences her own professional setback as her day at the office takes an unexpected and bitter turn. Steffi Forrester Finnegan steps in with a firm decision, making it clear that Hope's fashion line will no longer take center stage and will instead be pushed aside in favor of couture priorities, leaving Hope stunned and frustrated by how quickly the tides have shifted against her. Despite the growing tension, there are still attempts to find moments of normalcy and connection. Hope and Liam Spencer eventually join Katie and Bill Spencer for a dinner gathering at the Spencer estate, where the family tries to celebrate Katie's recent success and look ahead with optimism. Yet even in this seemingly warm setting, Katie's instincts tell her not to become too comfortable or complacent with the progress they've made. She believes that the momentum they've gained, especially after Eric's impactful collection, must be maintained if they want to stay relevant in the ever-competitive fashion world. That determination sparks a deeper conversation about the future direction of their creative efforts. In a bold idea, the possibility emerges that Hope might leave Forrester Creations altogether and instead join forces with Deke Sharp at Logan, a move that could completely reshape the fashion landscape they operate in. Katie is intrigued by the potential synergy between Hope's visionary creativity and Deke's raw talent, believing it could become a powerful and mutually beneficial partnership for everyone involved. However, this potential shift does not come without consequences. The idea of Hope leaving Forrester Creations and aligning herself with a new fashion direction could ignite fresh conflict among those who remain at the company. Steffi Brooke and Ridge Forrester may all find themselves deeply angered if Hope chooses to resign and align with what they would see as a rising rival force in the industry. The emotional and professional stakes continue to rise as each decision carries the weight of loyalty, ambition, and long-standing family tensions. What begins as a strategic conversation about career moves quickly evolves into another potential battlefield in the ongoing power struggle between the Logans and Forresters. The fashion world around them feels increasingly unstable, where every choice threatens to tip the balance of control and spark yet another wave of personal and professional retaliation. Elsewhere, inside the walls of Forrester Creations, a far more unsettling moment unfolds as Melissa Dillon experiences something deeply disturbing during her workday. The atmosphere shifts into something tense and unnerving when she hears the faint sound of someone moving stealthily nearby, as if hiding among the racks of clothing. The tension builds slowly, almost suffocating, until suddenly someone emerges from behind the garments, causing Dillon to let out a sharp, terrified scream at the unexpected presence. The identity of the figure remains a mystery in that moment, leaving both Dillon and the audience shaken and questioning who could have orchestrated such a chilling encounter. Speculation soon turns toward Remy Price, who may have disguised himself with a mask before deliberately revealing his identity in a calculated and unsettling reveal. This moment hints at a deeper and more complicated connection, especially since Remy is linked to a mysterious character whose identity has yet to be uncovered, and Dillon herself is also tied to an unknown caller whose presence continues to linger in the background, like a hidden thread waiting to be pulled. As the story moves into the week of May 4 to May 8, the mystery surrounding Remy and Dillon begins to edge closer to the surface, suggesting that their connection may run far deeper than anyone initially suspected. There is growing possibility that they could share a family bond, perhaps as half-siblings or step-siblings who have been separated for years without knowing the truth about each other. This potential revelation adds an emotional layer to Remy's strange behavior, which may even include old prank-like tendencies resurfacing as a way of processing or hiding his shock at reconnecting connecting with Dylan. At the same time, the romantic tensions within the younger generation continue to intensify, especially in the complicated dynamic between Electra Forrester and Will Spencer. Their relationship hangs in a delicate balance, uncertain whether it can survive as Electra's feelings for RJ Forrester begin to complicate her emotional path. Will too may find himself vulnerable if lingering feelings connected to Dylan resurface, particularly if Electra ultimately gravitates toward RJ instead of him, setting the stage for heartbreak and shifting loyalties. Meanwhile, a darker and more dangerous storyline begins to take shape as Sheila Carter sets her sights on another opportunity for manipulation and control. Her focus appears to turn towards sabotaging the relationship between Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes, planting the seeds for emotional destruction behind the scenes. Sheila's actions hint at a calculated and daring plan that could push both Deacon and Taylor into a state of uncertainty and distress as hidden motives begin to surface. The consequences of her interference threaten to ripple outward, potentially leading to troubling revelations that neither Deacon nor Taylor sees coming. As alliances are tested, romances become unstable, and secrets edge closer to exposure, the coming days promise a storm of emotional fallout that could change everything for everyone involved. As the tension at Forrester Creations deepens, the emotional fractures between families and relationships begin to widen even further, pulling everyone into an uneasy sense of anticipation. The atmosphere feels heavier with each passing day, as if every conversation carries hidden meaning and every decision has consequences waiting just beneath the surface. Hope Logan Spencer's uncertain future continues to loom over her, especially as she struggles to accept how quickly her position at the company has been diminished. The shift in power under Steffi Forrester Finnegan's authority leaves little room for compromise, and Hope is forced to confront the possibility that her creative identity may no longer have a secure place within the world she helped shape. Yet even in this uncertainty, there is a quiet resilience building inside her, as she begins to consider paths that once felt unthinkable, including stepping away entirely from Forrester Creations and embracing a new creative chapter alongside Deke Sharp. The idea carries both risk and liberation, a crossroads that could redefine not only her career, but her entire future in the fashion industry. At the same time, the ripple effects of this potential decision continue to stir conflict among those closest to her. Steffi, Brooke Logan Forrester, and Ridge Forrester find themselves increasingly frustrated by the shifting loyalties within their professional and personal circle. Hope's possible departure feels less like a simple career move and more like a symbolic break from the legacy of Forrester Creations itself, intensifying old wounds and reopening unresolved tensions between the families. Brooke is torn between her loyalty to her daughter and the emotional strain that continues to define her relationship with the Forresters, while Ridge is forced to confront yet another challenge to the stability of the empire he has fought to protect. The uncertainty surrounding Hope's next move becomes more than just business. It becomes a deeply personal conflict that threatens to reshape alliances in ways no one can fully predict. Elsewhere in the corridors of Forrester Creations, the unsettling mystery surrounding Melissa Dillon continues to linger like an unanswered question hanging in the air. The disturbing encounter she experienced has left her visibly shaken, and the memory of that moment refuses to fade easily. Every sound now feels amplified, every shadow slightly more threatening, as she tries to piece together what truly happened in that tense and frightening exchange. The possibility that Remy Price was behind the masked appearance only deepens the intrigue, especially as his behavior suggests layers of secrecy that have yet to be fully revealed. His connection to an unknown figure and the strange coincidence of Dylan's mysterious phone caller begins to feel too intertwined to ignore. The sense grows stronger that their lives are connected by something buried in the past, something neither of them fully understands yet but cannot escape. As the story moves closer to the week of May 4 to May 8, those hidden connections begin to take on sharper focus, hinting at revelations that could completely alter the way Remy and Dylan see each other. The possibility of a long-lost family bond emerges more clearly, suggesting that their relationship may not be random at all but rooted in shared history, perhaps as half-siblings or step-siblings separated by time and circumstance. If true, it would explain the emotional tension beneath Remy's actions, as well as the strange, almost playful edge to his unsettling behavior. Like someone unsure whether to reveal the truth directly or disguise it behind confusion and misdirection. For Dylan, the realization that her mysterious caller and the strange presence at work may be connected to her own past adds a deeply personal layer of fear and curiosity. Every new detail feels like a piece of a larger puzzle slowly coming together, one that could redefine her entire sense of identity. Meanwhile, the romantic entanglements among the younger generation grow increasingly complicated, pulling Electra Forrester, Will Spencer, RJ Forrester, and Dylan into a tangled web of emotions that refuses to settle. Electra finds herself caught between her present connection with Will and the emotional pull she feels toward RJ, creating a quiet but powerful internal conflict that threatens to surface at any moment. Will, sensing the shift in Electra's heart, struggles with his own uncertainty, especially as lingering feelings connected to Dylan resurface in unexpected ways. These overlapping emotions create a fragile balance where every interaction carries unspoken tension, and even the smallest misunderstanding could shift everything. The possibility of heartbreak looms over them all, not as a sudden explosion, but as a slow unraveling of trust, affection, and timing that none of them are fully prepared to face. At the same time, darker forces continue to move in the background, with Sheila Carter quietly setting her sights on yet another opportunity to manipulate the fragile stability around her. Her focus on Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes signals the beginning of a new and dangerous scheme, one that relies not on force, but on carefully placed doubt and emotional disruption. Sheila's intentions remain unpredictable, but her influence has a way of spreading quietly before consequences fully surface. As she edges closer to interfering in their relationship, the potential fallout begins to take shape, hinting at emotional damage that could affect not just Deacon and Taylor, but everyone connected to them. In this world where love, loyalty, and ambition constantly collide, every hidden secret and every quiet manipulation builds toward a breaking point that feels inevitable. And as these separate storylines continue to intertwine, the sense grows stronger that everything is moving toward a dramatic turning point, one that will leave no relationship, no alliance, and no secret untouched. As the week draws closer to its turning point, the entire world of Forrester Creations feels as though it is standing on the edge of something irreversible. Nothing is fully resolved, yet nothing remains untouched either, as every character is now quietly carrying the weight of decisions that could reshape their futures in unexpected ways. Hope Logan Spencer's uncertainty continues to echo through her choices, as she stands between the life she has always known and the possibility of stepping into something entirely new and untested. The idea of leaving Forrester Creations is no longer just a passing thought. It becomes a living question that follows her through every conversation, every silence, and every moment of doubt. Around her, the atmosphere remains charged, as if even the walls of the company itself are waiting to see which direction she will choose, knowing that her decision could shift the balance of power in ways that cannot easily be undone. At the same time, the emotional tension within the Logan and Forrester families continues to build in quiet but undeniable waves. Brooke Logan Forrester remains caught between her protective instincts as a mother and the unresolved emotional distance that continues to grow between her and the people she once stood firmly beside. Ridge Forrester, too, is forced to confront the reality that control and stability within the fashion empire are no longer guaranteed, especially as internal conflicts threaten to spill into public and professional consequences. Steffi Forrester Finnegan's firm stance only adds to the pressure, reinforcing a sense that the company is entering a new era, one defined not by unity but by competing visions and fractured loyalties. Even small decisions now feel loaded with meaning, as if every choice is being watched and measured against a larger unfolding storm. Elsewhere, the unsettling mystery surrounding Melissa Dillon and Remy Price continues to linger like a shadow that refuses to fully reveal its shape. The fear she experienced during that disturbing encounter does not fade, instead transforming into a lingering sense of unease that follows her through her daily routine. The question of who appeared behind the racks and why remains unanswered, but the possibility that it was Remy continues to weigh heavily in the air. His strange connection to unknown figures, paired with Dylan's mysterious caller, deepens the feeling that their lives are not just crossing paths by chance, but are instead bound by something far more personal and long buried. Every unanswered detail builds toward the sense that truth is approaching slowly, but inevitably, like a revelation waiting just beyond reach. As the narrative moves toward the May 4th to May 8th timeframe, that sense of approaching revelation grows stronger, especially around the possibility that Remy and Dylan share a forgotten family connection. The idea that they could be half-siblings or step-siblings separated by years adds an emotional complexity that redefines every strange interaction between them. What once seemed like confusion or mischief begins to take on a more layered meaning, as if every unsettling moment was quietly pointing toward recognition they are only now beginning to understand. For Dylan, the realization that her unknown caller may be tied to her own past creates a growing emotional tension that blends fear, curiosity, and vulnerability into a single overwhelming thread. Nothing about her situation feels random anymore, and every new clue seems to tighten the invisible thread pulling her closer to a truth she cannot yet fully see. Meanwhile, the romantic entanglements among Electra Forrester, Will Spencer, RJ Forrester, and Dylan continue to unfold with quiet but undeniable intensity. Electra's emotional conflict deepens as she finds herself torn between loyalty to Will and the growing pull she feels toward RJ, creating an internal struggle that threatens to surface at the worst possible moment. Will, sensing the distance forming, begins to question not only their connection, but also the lingering emotional echoes of his past that may still influence his present. These overlapping feelings create a fragile emotional landscape where nothing feels stable, and every unspoken thought carries the potential to shift relationships in irreversible ways. The possibility of heartbreak is no longer distant. It feels close, subtle, and already in motion beneath the surface of their daily interactions. And through it all, Sheila Carter remains a persistent and unpredictable force moving in the background, quietly shaping uncertainty wherever she focuses her attention. Her interest in Deacon Sharp and Taylor Hayes continues to signal danger, as her methods rely not on open confrontation, but on subtle manipulation that slowly disrupts trust from within. The closer she moves to their relationship, the more the air around them seems to tighten, as if something unseen is preparing to break through at any moment. In a world already filled with emotional instability, her presence acts like a spark near dry ground, capable of turning quiet tension into open conflict without warning. As these intertwined stories continue to build toward their next explosive turning point, one truth becomes increasingly clear. Nothing in this world remains untouched for long, and every secret, every choice, and every hidden connection is slowly converging toward a moment where everything will finally come to light.